Hey everybody, it's Kyle. Today I want to talk about the iPad. Because, there was a time where my son was, I'll call it iPad addicted or phone addicted, and it was what he spent all his time doing, and that's what he wanted to do every minute of the day. And you've probably experienced something like this. Let's say the iPad runs out of juice. Well, it wasn't uncommon for him to smash it because he'd get frustrated. And so, he couldn't live without it, we couldn't live without it, so we would replace it. Or the phone, or whatever it is he smashed. And after about the 6th or 7th time of this, I started to ask myself a lot of questions, like, what the crap is going on? I can't afford all these That's the first question I asked, and I was frustrated. Sorry for screaming at the camera. The next question I asked was, what am I teaching him? And that's a hard question to answer. It was for me. I started to write down a list of things that I was teaching him by just immediately replacing the iPad. And I knew why I did it, because he would flip out if he didn't have one. So my reasons why were pretty strong and pretty powerful. And I started to realize too that it was really kind of I don't want to offend you, but it was a babysitter for me and for him and for my wife. And it kept him busy and it kept him occupied. It was a babysitter for us. And I thought, what lessons am I teaching him by, first of all, completely, immediately replacing those things? Well, the answers were hard for me to take. And they were things like this. Well, I'm teaching him that if things go wrong, it's okay to smash. And you know what? That spread to TVs, iPod, or the headphones with the iPods, whatever they are, to video players, to DVD players. I mean, I taught him by completely and immediately replacing these things that when he got frustrated, it was okay to smash, because I was just going to replace whatever he smashed, and he was going to get a new one and be right back where he started. And this was not a lesson I wanted to teach him. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, and I did this too, well, if I don't replace it, he's going to melt down every day until he gets a new one. And that's not a lesson I wanted to teach him either, which is it was okay, first of all, to smash, and second of all, to think he was just going to get a new one, and if he didn't, it was okay to melt down and get frustrated and break other things in his attempt to get a new iPad. Imagine if that's how we treated normal human beings. Imagine if my car ran out of gas, and so I smashed it thinking I would just get a new one, and there was somebody there to give me a new one. What lesson are we teaching our kids when we replace these things? Now, the harsh reality is it's really painful to teach them these lessons. It's really painful sometimes, because we're the ones, they're just smashing and grabbing, and what we're doing is feeding the smash animal. Now, here's what happened. I sat down with him and I wrote out an agreement. He didn't even understand the agreement. It didn't matter. It was for me. The next time you smash one of these things, I went over to his calendar. He has a calendar on his wall because he understands that. I said, we won't have an iPad, and I started drawing a line, an X, through each day that we wouldn't have an iPad. And I put 7 straight days on there. Well, guess what that did to him? It set him into a meltdown. And guess what I did? I didn't care. I had to set a new pattern for him. And here's what I'm suggesting you do right now, parents. Set the new pattern. Now, when he does things he's not supposed to do, by the way, he doesn't own his own iPad. And he hasn't for a long, long time. He has to ask to use it, and we have a chart that says how long specifically he can use it, and then he has to give it back. Now, you might say to yourself, well, he's going to throw a fit when he has to give it back. And I'm saying, what lesson are we teaching him if we let him do that and we let him keep it? I say, a bad lesson. The lesson we're teaching is, if you throw a big enough fit, I'll give you whatever you want. Well, the time is now, parents, for us to set new standards, and I did a video a while back called "Sometimes You Have to Make Them Melt Down," and sometimes you have to set new patterns for them that will mean they will melt down, and we have to be big enough parents to manage that in a way. Otherwise, the lessons we teach them, if I smash it, they'll replace it. If I don't like what's going on, I can tear crap up. It's going to get bigger and stronger, and next thing you know, you and I can become the target of their aggression, right? So I know this is hard, this is bad, this is hard news, it's tough, but now may be the time. If you've got a problem with a child that when things don't go their way, they smash and tear crap up, imagine if we did that. It's not acceptable behavior. And you might say it's autism. I might say I don't care. With my child, I don't care if it's autism or bad behavior. It's not going to happen anymore. And we're going to set new things and patterns in place that prevent that from happening. So, hard lesson to learn for us. It's going to be hard. Don't fool yourself. You're not going to take that iPad away and start giving it to them for 2 or 3 hours a day at 1 hour intervals and expect that to go easy. But I'm not saying that's what you should expect. I'm saying you should expect it to be hard, but you should know that long term, this is going to be what's best for you and for your child. So hopefully that's helpful. Give me your feedback. Tell me if I'm crazy, but I've experienced it. I know what you're going through. I know how hard it is to take those things away and set schedules for those things. But let me tell you, it's worth it. Now, it's worth it. So hang in there. Do your best. Let me know if there's anything I can do to help, okay? Talk to you next time. Bye-bye.